What would be one tip that you would give someone that's hesitant about picking up the phone and calling these expireds?
Just do it, because you're not going to secure them as a client by not picking up the phone, but by picking up the phone and becoming a little bit more skilled and more confident. By the way, after you get a couple appointments, your confidence changes tremendously. And by the way, expired sellers are some of the best clients you can get because they had a bad experience before. And when you sell and they're so appreciative, they have been the best referral source that you can get. So it's been amazing, actually.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Vulcan7 Coaches and Mentors, where we bring you some of the best agents in this industry so that they can share with you their tips and strategies so that you can take your business to the next level. Now, today we're going to talk more about expireds. This agent, this coach, this mentor that we have for today's episode, her first year, she listed 80 expireds, and the following year, it was 130. So if you're looking to do those numbers, if you want to find out how she did this, well, definitely make sure you have your pen and paper ready. So with that being said, let me bring on today's guest, Carolyn Young. Hey, Carolyn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So for everyone that's watching that might not be familiar with you, go ahead and share with us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm in the Northern Virginia market. I'm a team lead. We have now 23 agents on the team. We've been growing. And, I've been an agent for over 30 years at this point. And up until about 6 years ago is when I really decided to launch my team and my growth. And it all started with expires. So I went all in on expires, and I think consistency, doing things regular, figuring out what works, doesn't work. The first year, staying all in with it. I listed about 80 of them, and the second year it was 140 of them, which is quite a few a month, So, but once you get the rhythm going, honestly, as much as you're willing to make calls and work, you can, do as much business as you like.
Absolutely. So that year, that first year that you did over 80, what did your schedule look like for you to be able to achieve those numbers?
Yeah. So basically for me, I find that, consistency with it, right? And I'll have to say, for anybody, you're not going to pick up the phone and start having those kind of numbers right out of the gate. There is a J curve, which is your learning curve to anything you do. So it took a few months for me to figure out what to say and how to do it and how to be effective with it. So basically, when I first started into Vulcan7, I was listing prior to that, maybe 15 homes in a year. So for me, it was just really big because I was averaging about 7 a month. Honestly, it was more like probably about 9 or 10 because of the fact that the first couple months I did have a learning curve. But it looks like maybe in the morning, I pretty much every morning made my calls. And by doing it every day and being consistent and not, moreover, taking the new calls, but making sure that you make all your follow-up calls. Because as we all know, the money's in the follow-up. So I mean, there would be times that, people I would call, 25, 30 times. So your follow-up calls are really important. But generally, speaking, people that were on the market and came off, they need somebody to help them.
Yeah. So then that following year, it was almost double from the previous year.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I got good. After you make that many calls and you sit on the phone for 2 to 3 hours every morning making calls, you get better because, as we know, everybody has the same objections, right?
Mhm.
So you're only going to have the same objections, like maybe, 6 different main objections. And so once you get used to what to say and how to handle it, and the most important is when you're calling is that you're coming from a place of help. You don't come from a place of I'm the best and I want your listing, but a place of help. People appreciate it and how to get them in the conversation with you. But but as you get a little bit more of an understanding of what to do and what to say, that's how you'll increase getting into the appointments and getting the listings.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you're saying that, because sometimes agents, especially that are watching this, maybe they're trying to get their first listing and they're just trying to sell themselves instead of coming from a place of, I want to be a problem solver to see if I can actually help that seller. So when it comes to mindset, how did that come into play for you to be able to increase your numbers and just be able to handle objections that were coming your way?
I think if you go in with a mindset, and as most of us know that do call, you're not the only caller. You're one of 5, 10, 20 calls, and most of the agents come at sellers with the wrong approach, which is unfortunate. Well, it makes it easy for me because it's easier to get an appointment. But after 10 people have called and they're calling saying, I'm number one, I'm the best, you made a mistake, don't make one again. Nobody wants to hear that. Save that for the listing appointment. All you're calling for is to see if you can help. Like, I see you came off the market. How can I help you? You're in my market. I like to help people that were unsuccessful at selling. And even if they say, I don't want to talk to you, I have an agent. Would you mind if I got a personal tour of the home? You just got to go meet them face to face. Once you meet people face to face, that's your time to win them over. It's not to argue with them.
Exactly. So in the
Yeah.
beginning, was it just yourself or did you have a small team, or when did you start growing?
So that was at the beginning of me launching my team. At that point, it was just me, an assistant, and I had one buyer agent. And so I just decided that's what I was going to do. And of course, it increased my business. And then I got busy because I was investing in other pillars. And then it was the need of growing the team by need of demand. So again, we went over the past 6 years from having kind of me and one buyer agent to now 23 agents. So we've grown quite a bit over the past 6 years. And I have a couple people on the team that are very, very good at expires. And they're
That's
calling now
awesome.
because I don't have the time to do it all the time anymore.
Yeah. So now you're just leading your team and training them to be an extension of you, pretty much.
Yes, yes. Sometimes I jump in there with them because it's just kind of fun to do. So
Yeah.
we all meet on Zoom in the morning, and so we always try in the morning. We have several dialers on our system, and everybody signs up for the dialers in advance, and we all call together. I like to keep people. If it was me, I'd be calling 2 to 3 hours a day because it's such a it's a money maker. There's just no doubt about it, and you get the opportunity to help so many people. And
Hmm.
but I can only do so much. But generally, I've got a couple of the people that are committed to like an hour a day, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. But they're doing well with it. So.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So let's say we have someone that's been working mostly with buyers and they're ready to transition to listings because maybe their buyers have been wasting their time or things have happened. What would you recommend for them to start in terms of like their schedule, the amount of hours, if they're doing this full time, for them to be calling, maybe amount of conversations to have?
So I would say that for one, if it's something you're going to do, you have to commit to it, and you can't say I'm going to commit to it and do it for a couple weeks and then, oh, I got busy and didn't call. That is not committing. I'm talking about you got to commit. Maybe you say Monday through Thursday, every day you're going to call. You call your new ones and then you call your follow-ups. That's just a must. And you should spend a couple hours there. And nobody can say the thing that, because I have a lot of people that call me that I help with the system, right? So the number one thing that just makes me crazy is when people say, well, I've been trying it and it's not working. How long have you tried it? You made like 100 calls and it didn't work. Are you kidding me? Make like 500 and tell me it doesn't work. Like, you have to like put in the time to get used to it. But if you're not getting people to respond to you, change what you're saying and see if that works. Like, people will respond if you say the right thing. So people
Mhm.
just have to keep working on what they're going to say when they call and when they connect with someone. But if they don't answer the phone, leave a compelling message because they'll call you back.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because yes, we hear it all the time. Oh, making the calls doesn't work. The expired for sale by owners, it doesn't work. But maybe the agent just hasn't been making enough calls or they only did it for a week and then they stopped. So being consistent and disciplined, I think that's what
Yes.
obviously you have done to take yourself and your business to the next level. Yeah, as the market, obviously we have seen a change with the interest rates and some agents are leaving the business. Going to next year, what do you think are some changes that are going to be coming or that you see happening with maybe expires or for sale by owners, more or less? Or what do agents need to work on to make sure that they are getting those listings?
So I think as we're going into next year's market, and you're right, you will see some people leaving the industry. And you know why? It's because the market is becoming a very skilled based market. So if agents are not willing to step up their knowledge, their skill, and become invaluable to our sellers and buyers, you're not going to make it in the market because the sellers, they do need a good agent on their side that can add experience and value to help them navigate a successful sale to get the highest price for their home and to help a buyer win in a multiple offer situation. So it just means that people have to step up their skill. And I think 2024 is going to be the year of success for those that are willing to invest into their knowledge and their skill and become a better agent and add more value to your client.
Yes,
And that's going to
skills.
separate. It's going to make it for those that are willing to do that. They're going to have a fantastic year.
Oh yeah. No, we start to see it now. And I like to say skills pay the bills because essentially that's what it is. If you're not working on your skills or investing in yourself to be better at having conversations or knowing what to say and how to help your clients, then of course you're gonna probably want to get out and not do this business. So talking about investing in yourself, if any agents do want to reach out to you, do you have any programs, any events coming up, or how can they get a hold of you?
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is just follow me on Instagram and send me a direct message. I watch that very closely and I'm happy to share. I don't, really have any coaching programs I do with expires. I should put something together, but I haven't. Um, but I'm always happy for someone that is venturing into it to, reach out for any tips or whatever they can do to help their success with it.
Mhm. So the team that you have, you mentioned it's 23 agents.
Mhm.
Perhaps there are some agents that are right now ready to scale and grow a team. What would you recommend are some things for them to look at in terms of maybe the agents that they should bring on to their team, qualities, expectations, and things like that?
Okay, yeah. So basically, I think that, if you want to, I really do think teams right now are clearly dominating in the market. And I think that's going to change even more so. But, either you join a team or run a team, either way. But, for me, my whole thing about the way I run my team is by uh, I hire for, people that work with excellence. I like people that have determination, that are good team players, collaborative, and they're looking for change and success as well.
Okay,
So
there you go.
everybody has different teams. That's just the kind of players that I look for when I hire.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, for anyone that might be interested in reaching out to you, what is the best place to reach you? I know that you mentioned social media,
Yeah, I
right?
think I think Instagram, Carolyn Young team. It's easy to remember, and I always reply to the messages in there, and I'm always willing to help out.
Okay, awesome. What would be one last tip that you would give someone that's probably hesitant about picking up the phone and calling these expireds so that they actually get to doing it?
I would say fake it until you make it. Just do it. Like it doesn't matter. If you get rejected, who cares? If you get hung up on, who cares? Because you're not going to secure them as a client by not picking up the phone, but by picking up the phone and becoming a little bit more skilled and more confident. By the way, after you get a couple appointments, your confidence changes tremendously. But by becoming more confident, without a doubt, you'll be able to help so many more people. And by the way, expired sellers are some of the best clients you can get because they had a bad experience before. And when you sell and they're so appreciative, they have been the best referral source that you can get. So it's been amazing actually.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here. She said the expireds will probably bring you more business. So if you're not picking up the phones, if you think no one's going to answer, you're definitely missing out on a lot of business. All right, Carolyn. Well, thank you so much for being on today's episode. Thank you for all of the knowledge that you dropped. We'll make sure to put all of your links in the description box below. And with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you for having me.